Hello, welcome back to the You at Your Best podcast. I'm your host, Morgan. So, I'm not sure what I want to talk about with this episode. I just really wanted to just sit down and talk. I am in a very talkative mood right now. I went to the doctor today, and I'm being referred to a psychologist to finally get my diagnosis for ADHD and autism and maybe other things if that's what ends up happening. I've spent so much time procrastinating it because I've just been really scared to go for it, but I've been doing a lot of manifesting, just manifesting that anxiety away, that intense anxiety that I feel whenever I'm so scared to put myself out there and talk about this stuff. I've been doing a lot better in general. This month has been very busy. The month of April is whenever I'm recording this. And I've noticed that I've been in such a better mental state because I've been so busy. Normally, I spend a lot of time at home and my schedule kind of just looks the same. It's just I'm either at home with my baby or going to work. But this month, we've been doing so much. We had Easter and we had so much to do for Easter. We had to go to Alabama for family. We are looking for a new apartment. We are waiting on the process for that. We applied for it. We went and toured the apartment. And we've just been doing a lot this month. And I've noticed that my mental state is so much better. Whenever I put myself out there and I go places, I feel so much better. Even though most of the time I just isolate myself out of fear and anxiety. But I've been really manifesting a life that isn't so sheltered and isolated, and it's really coming to me now. And I've been making plans to hang out with people, and anyone who knows me knows that I don't like hanging out with people most of the time. I'm very much a loner. I love being by myself, but I'm also a very extroverted person whenever I feel comfortable. And I've just been feeling more comfortable in myself and in being me. And I just feel like life is just getting so much better now. And like ever since I had my baby, life has been getting better. Before I had her, I was just kind of lost. I didn't really know who I was or who I wanted to be. I didn't have a point in my life. And after having my baby, I really started getting more of a point. And now it's like over time things are just getting better and better, and I know that it's because I've been manifesting that. And sometimes it's not even me consciously manifesting it. It's just me really focusing on like, my life is good. My life is great. My life is exactly how I want it to be. Everything is going to work out for me. And even if I'm not consciously repeating those affirmations, I truly believe that it's true. And that's why I believe that for manifesting, you don't even have to consciously use affirmations to get the life that you want or get the thing that you're trying to manifest. You just have to truly believe that it's going to come to you. Because anything that we believe is true, because it's just how our brains work. And I talked about this in last week's episode. It's scientifically proven that manifesting always brings us closer to that thing that we want. And whatever you truly believe is what is true in your life. And that's why I feel like so many people can believe in different things, like different religions, whatever, and all of it is true. And a couple of years ago, my boyfriend was telling me that he believes that every single religion is correct. Every single thing that every single person believes is true. And I was like, how is that even a thing? Like, I feel like there's only one true thing, and I didn't know what that one true thing was. I'm at a place now where I know what I personally believe, but at the time I didn't know. And I was just questioning everything. I didn't know, like, is God real? That's what I grew up Christian, kind of. I didn't really grow up in church, but where I'm from, everyone is Christian, specifically Baptist most of the time. And I do believe in God, but I questioned it for a long time, and I didn't know what I believed in. And I didn't want to make myself believe in something out of fear that I would go to hell or anything like that. I wanted to actually know what I personally believed. And that's why I feel like I'm more of a spiritual person and not a religious person, because there's a lot of Christian teachings that I just don't agree with at all. And I feel like having a relationship with God is so personal, but there are so many people who just out of fear of being wrong, like the whole fear of God thing, out of fear of going to hell, a lot of people are terrified to stop and think about what they believe in. I didn't think that this would be something that I would talk about on my podcast just because it's very personal, and I've spent most of my life being terrified to talk about my personal beliefs. My entire life I've always believed in reincarnation, but the people around me genuinely think that it's wrong, and even sometimes they act like it's almost evil to believe that, which makes no sense to me. I feel like just blindly following a religion without even thinking about what you believe first, I feel like that's not necessarily evil, but like in the same sense that they believe that certain things are evil, like it's similar to that. And I just think that every single human being needs to go through the process of questioning and allowing themselves to think, like, do I actually believe in what I've been raised to believe in? Do I believe in something else? And now I realize that, like what my boyfriend said about everything that everyone believes is true, I completely agree with that. I think there is a God. I think he exists, but I think he exists in different forms for everyone. And I don't think he's this person or being, I guess. I don't think it's as black and white as a lot of Christian teachings are. Like, you're going to hell if you don't believe in God. I don't think so. I think God is way more forgiving than that. I think all of us are divine beings. All of us have souls, and our souls can be reincarnated. Every single human being and every single thing that's alive, animals, plants even, I think we all have a soul. And each human being and each thing on this planet, each soul that is placed inside of something, I feel like we probably forget. And again, all of this that I'm saying, like, I don't know that any of this is true. This is just what I feel like I genuinely believe over time of just really thinking and allowing myself to doubt it. I think that every single time we're placed into something on earth, our soul is upgrading and our divine self is upgrading. And I think we all are divine. We just forget about it once we're on earth because we have human struggles. And I think a lot of humans, we can really tap into that. And that's why I genuinely believe in the divine feminine and the divine masculine. We are all divine beings. And that's another thing that I don't really agree with Christianity. I feel like there's not just a small amount of people who are divine and who we should follow. I think every single human being is a leader. I think all of us are divine. There's a divine being inside of every single one of us, and we're all forgetting about it, of course. And I think the ones that we end up following are the ones that remember, or at least are closer to remembering. And truth is, I believe that every single one of us can get to that place. It's just being human is so hard that sometimes it's like we don't really know. And I think it's important and really good for people to question, like, do you actually believe that God exists? Or whatever it is that you were raised on. If you were raised to believe that God doesn't exist, you maybe actually believe that he does. And for me, it wasn't really that scary questioning because my boyfriend, he's the same way. He's the type of person that's okay with questioning that kind of stuff. And I think because of that, it made it for me where I didn't feel so scared to question it. And then also in 2020, whenever TikTok was big, and that was whenever I started seeing things outside of my own little bubble. I grew up around very Republican, conservative people in a very small homophobic town, and like Harry Styles from One Direction, he was the first person to introduce me to like being gay, and like possibly I thought that I was bisexual because of that feeling that they talked about whenever they just feel so out of place. I realized that feeling was just autism for me. I had no idea that I was autistic, and I've realized that I am not bisexual. I'm actually straight. But literally, like, Harry Styles started me on this entire journey of like, first when I remember I felt so uncomfortable in It was the summer after 8th grade. I started getting super into One Direction, and I would see Harry Styles running around stage with a pride flag, and I felt so uncomfortable whenever I saw it at first. I was like, I didn't even want to think about something like that. And then over time, I just kept on watching a lot of YouTube videos of One Direction performances and seeing Harry Styles do that. And then I started getting into like the whole Larry Stylinson thing, and I was a huge shipper of them. And because of that, I started being able to question things, and I didn't feel like I had to fit into this specific box. And I know like a lot of people who grow up not really having that kind of stuff, and their personal life is like very much you have to be a specific way or you're going to disappoint the people in your life. I totally get why those people struggle to question things. Because if I didn't watch One Direction, and then after COVID hit and TikTok became so big, and like realizing what my personal beliefs are politically, without that, I wouldn't have been at the place that I'm at right now. So I get it if it's hard to change and question, but I promise you, questioning it may take a long time, and you may have to go through a lot of anxiety and depression and a life that's really hard. And as sad as it is, you have to go through that to get to a place where you truly know yourself, and you truly know what you believe in, and you truly understand what you want in life and your purpose in this life. And I think as hard as it is, every single human being has to go through that journey. And for me, it was really hard. The hardest part was right after high school. Actually, no, my senior year of high school, all of my friends switched to online school because COVID had happened the year before that. My 11th grade year is whenever COVID hit. And my senior year, we had the option to do online school or in person. My boyfriend and I, we both chose to do in person. And most of my friends switched to online school, or the friends that I did have, I couldn't really connect with them without other friends being around. So all I had was my boyfriend and his best friend. And now all three of us are really close because of that. But I had to go through that, and I had to go through that hard time where I, after high school, was just lost. I was literally just like a blob of a human being. Honestly, I was so anxious all the time, people pleasing so much that I couldn't even say no to people. I couldn't have conversations with people. I couldn't make friends. I was completely lost. And for a long time, my life was like that. I felt horrible about myself, had so much deep-rooted shame and hatred for myself. And life was really hard at that time, but I had to go through that to get here because I needed to learn that lesson. And that's something that I've really realized, that He isn't doing these things to us to be evil or because he hates us. It's because he knows the potential that we have, and we have to go through these things in order to meet that full potential of the person that we are. And I truly believe that the people who go through the most in life are the people who are meant for so much. And I don't mean that, I don't want to make people who don't go through a lot and have really happy lives feel bad, because I think those people are meant to just be at peace and just enjoy life. And every single human being goes through hard things. So every single hard thing that you go through, that's a step towards becoming closer to your higher self. And I think that every single time we're reincarnated on this earth, that is our chance to upgrade our souls and to get an experience. And I think being neurodivergent, for me, that is a huge part of the experience of this life. And I don't believe that people are damned to hell. Like, I know so many people say that you can't believe in God without believing in hell, but I truly, at this point in my life, I don't think I believe in hell. I don't think human beings are sent there. I think we have souls and we're more divine beings, and we're not less than. I think God is our creator. I think he's our father, but I don't think that we're just beings or just living on this planet, and then after we die, we go to heaven or hell. And like I was saying, I think we are here on this planet with this life and the problems that we go through to upgrade our souls. And I don't really know what that means. And once I die, I feel like I genuinely believe that I'll know. And that's something that I've always thought about. I've always been terrified of dying. But at the same time, I've always thought, like, whenever I die, at least I'll know. Even if I forget, I always looked at it like that. Sometimes in my life, I didn't know what I believed in. I didn't know if I believed in God, but I always felt like reincarnation made complete sense to me. And who knows, maybe my beliefs will change the older I get. But for right now, this is what I truly believe in. I think that once we die, we'll know everything. And then I don't know what happens. Like, I keep on like picturing that we'll be able to choose if we want to be at peace, if we want our soul to just relax for a little bit until we're ready again, or if we go straight back into the world. I feel like that's what happens, but I don't know. None of us know. But I do truly believe that every single life that we go through, that is a chance to upgrade our souls and to learn more, which is just incredible to think about. I don't think life should be scary. I don't think we should be scaring ourselves, because I have learned throughout the course of my life that anything that you do to scare yourself or shame other people or scare other people, like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's not how life is supposed to be. We're supposed to be happy and at peace. And the more happy and at peace you are, the higher your soul is. The closer you are to your divine being and who you truly are. I think as humans, there's always going to be a block, and we can't ever be that divine being. But I think after we die, we become that. And honestly, that makes me feel a lot happier. Like, this life is incredible, and I will do everything I can to enjoy this life that I have. But I don't have to be scared of dying, because I know that nothing but good will come. And I think that's true for all of us. I think maybe we can fail at our quest for these lives. I think if we don't heal as much as we can, of course, you don't have to be fully healed ever. I don't think that's even possible for human beings. We go through so much trauma just from existing. But I think that we are put here on a quest, and our quest is to live this life to the fullest and enjoy it and make it the best that we can and love it so much that it's hard to let go of. But we also know, I feel like as soon as we die, we remember everything, and we remember everything that we've been through. And maybe some of us have older souls, maybe some of us have younger souls, I don't know, but that's what I believe. And I'm kind of scared talking about this, because I feel like people are going to listen to this and be like, this girl is fucking crazy. But it all makes complete sense to me, and it all lines up. And honestly, I didn't think that was something that I would ever talk about on this podcast. I've been really thinking about that a lot for the past couple of weeks. Of course, I've spent years trying to figure all this out, but the past couple of weeks it's been really on my mind. And now I'm talking about it because I've realized that, like, the point in life isn't to be scared, to not do what you want out of the fear of judgment. It's to do what you want even whenever you're scared, even whenever it's incredibly uncomfortable. To create the best life for yourself, you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. And I don't mean that in like you have to force yourself to do things that are going to give you panic attacks. I mean, do things that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I saw on Love on the Spectrum this, I can't remember her name, but the woman that is autistic too, but she helps teach the people on the show like how to date and how to approach the dating world. And she drew out a visual like kind of graph, and she put like one circle in the middle, it was your comfort zone, and then she drew the big circle outside of that, and that was I forgot what she called it, but like outside of your uncomfortable zone. And then she drew a smaller circle around the comfort zone, and she was saying that that small circle is the one that you need to stick to. You don't have to push yourself out of that comfort zone so far that it creates anxiety and panic attacks, but you still need to take small steps out of your comfort zone. And I always say that I believe that you don't have to go super far out of your comfort zone right now. It's okay to only do what you're ready for. And that's because I believe that we have to go through different stages of life in order to get to a place to where our comfort zone becomes bigger. But we can't push ourselves to do things that are just going to stress us out and cause intense anxiety. And doing that is going to pull you further away from yourself, because the whole point of being in your divine self as much as you can as a human being is be more relaxed. And whenever you're in a state of relaxation, that's whenever you're closest to your divine self. And so many of us believe that we have to do more to be better, but we actually should be doing less, especially women or divine feminine people. Okay, I think that's it for this week's episode. I feel really proud of it. I am scared to put it out, but I think it's important for us to stop being so scared to put out things out of the fear of judgment, because we're on this planet to do what we are meant to do. And even if people think it's cringe, those people are lost, and you're not. If you're wanting to put stuff out there, if there's something that you want to do, do it, because I promise you that will bring you closer to your divine being, to your purpose in this life, to your true self and true happiness. And my baby is playing with a rapper right now, and that's what that sound is. But I gotta go. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next Sunday.